Hello everyone, welcome back to Jacqs. Thank you for joining me today for our What a Card series. Today we will be working on a Ferris wheel card. This is the example that I created, and it even has movement to it, which is a very fun element to include in any type of card that is interactive. It has a nice pedestal here, and you can open this up and write your sentiment and sign the card here. So I did some video clips of just creating this, but what we're also going to do is walk through the creation of this card as well. This is another type of Ferris wheel card. It also has movement to it, and I am loving this one as well. So let's dig right into all the details. So let's open our Cricut design space and select new project. Select images on the left hand side, and in the search box we're going to type Ferris wheel. And then I selected the one that I liked and I resized it to 7.694 by 7.565. And at this point I actually ungrouped it just so I have the images separate. So I cut one of the full image, and then for the baskets, I cut 8, and that is one for each of the baskets on the image, but you could also cut multiple if you want to stack them. Now I sewed the baskets, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. Here we are cutting off the base of the image that we cut from the Cricut file, and then I cut out a piece of acetate which is 5.5 inches around, and now I'm going to glue that onto the back of the image. At this point, I have the base of the card already cut out, and I'm going to align it to where I want it on the Ferris wheel and then connect the two of those. Now, I go into more detail further on in the video, so I'm just going to put this on fast forward for you right now. The first thing you're going to want to do is get some plastic or acetate. I'm using this clear plastic from We Are Memory Keepers I got from Tuesday Morning, and you're going to cut out a 5-inch circle. Next we'll need a very sturdy piece of cardstock. I'm using 110-pound weight white cardstock. We're going to cut this down to 9.5 by 4. Next, we'll take our cardstock and put it in our scoreboard, or use your ruler and a bone folder and score at 4 3/4. Go ahead and fold that in half. And burnish. Next, you'll take a pencil with the opened end folded to the top of your scoreboard. You're going to put a little mark at 1 1/4 and 2 3/4. So it will look like that. Turn your cardstock 180 degrees with the folded edge at the top. Now what we're going to do is score at 1 and 3. Now for this next part, you can freehand it, or you can use a curved ruler or any type of curved item that you have. What I'm going to do here is take the ruler. I'm going to line up my two lines, the bottom one here and the top one here, and then I'm going to trace the curve. So that it would look like this. And I'll do the same on the other side. Again, you can freehand this, and I'll show you what you would be freehanding in a moment. So what you end up with is curved sides. They go out and back in. And it would actually look something like this when it's cut out. Now on this one, I just freehanded it. I started down here at the bottom, and then I just started cutting around and up like this. So you could do the same. Now that we have our lines marked, we will go ahead and use our scissors to cut out the sides. So I'm going to bring the scoreboard back in, and we're going to make 2 more score marks. So we have the center at 4 3/4, and what we're going to do is score at 4 1/4 and 5 1/4. And now what we're going to do is fold on those score marks and burnish. So for this part, what we're going to do, we want to push the center upward. So we're going to fold it the opposite way. So you have like a valley and a mountain and a valley, okay? So then when you're done, it looks like this, and it's all folded like a W here. And this will be our base. Make sure to go back and erase the pencil marks. Now the reason I'm having us create the base this way instead of like I did here for this Ferris wheel, it provides more stability in it standing up, and if you look, it almost creates like a vase shape rather than having this kind of triangular type look. So I thought we would try a different way of creating the base since we're using flowers, and I thought it would be kind of like a flower vase. Now, if you want to just go ahead and create the base like this, I will walk through that right now. You would take your cardstock and you would cut it down to 8 1/2 by 4. You would put it in your scoreboard with the long edge at the top, and you would score at 4 1/4 and fold that over. Take your pencil, mark at 1 1/4 and 2 3/4. Bring in your cutter again, and what we're going to do is align the cutting blade edge to the mark that we made, the pencil mark that we made here, to the corner of the paper. So it's kind of like a diagonal. So align your pencil mark here and make sure the points are all aligned to the blade and cut. So see, you're cutting off like a sliver, a triangular sliver. Turn that over to the other side, align your mark, align the pointed corner edge, and cut. And then you will have your triangular base. Now for this portion of the tutorial, what you're going to need is your acetate and whichever base that you're going to go with. I'm going to use the one that is shaped like a vase in my opinion, and I'm going to set this one aside. You will also need a awl or a pointy tool and a ruler if you want to be exact. If you don't want to be exact, you can again guess. So what I'm going to start with is our acetate, and I'm going to find the center and create a mark because I want to put a hole in the center of the acetate. Okay, I have this metallic marker. I think I got this at the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to put a little dot. Now that we have our center marked, I found it's easier to pierce the holes in the two items separately than together. So we're going to take our acetate and our awl where we have that mark and then just push in to create a hole. A little turn will do it. For our base, what I'm going to do is kind of the same thing. Going to use my Tim Holtz ruler here and figure out where the center is. And I'm going to come down about 1/4 of an inch from the top. So here's the top of the base. I'm going to come down about 1/4 of an inch and make my mark again. So right there. Now when you place the hole in this one, you're only going to do it in the front one, not the back. It would be the same thing here. You would open it up this way, put your hole in it, and that's what we're going to do here. So just like this. There we go. Okay, so don't put your hole in the back, just the front. And then we would take a brad. I found this cute little heart brad. And line these up. And then open our brad here. Now you want to open it up, but you don't want to make it so tight that nothing can move because you do want the wheel to move around it. What I found is good is to hold the brad, force the acetate around it, and then it doesn't move the brad itself when we have it all closed up. Okay? Correction, when you're doing it in the vase style, you do want to put the hole through the second part of the base, okay? There we have it. When you do this type of base, you only want to put it in the one. See, doing it this way, it stands, but if we only did it in one side of our base for this type, this would just be hanging. Okay, and we can cover this later with decorative paper or whatever we like. Now we're at the point where we want to start adding images to our acetate to create the wheel. What I'm going to do to make this lay flatter is to push this flap out instead of inward, so that it will lay like this and it will be a little bit more flat. Next, what we're going to do is decide what we want to have around the acetate. You could use die cuts, magazine images, really whatever you have. I've decided to use some flowers by Maggie Holmes, the Flourish collection. This is the ephemera pack. I have those all picked out. I even added gold stickles to some of them to give them a little zhuzhing up. I think I'm going to add the gold leaves to them as well, and then I have some butterflies also. One of the first things that you might want to do is to lay out how you want all of your die cuts or images, and make sure that they don't hang down beyond the base of the bottom of the base. For example, if you had a flower here Well, here, let's use this one. It's bigger. If you have a flower here and you stuck it on, you could see it's hanging over the base. So that won't go around. It won't sit up and go around. So you need to make sure your flowers are in and that there is enough space between the end of the flower and the base. Okay? Hope that makes sense. What I've also decided to do so that it's not a flat image, I mean, you can certainly do that, lay them all flat onto the acetate. But what I've decided to do was add foam tape on every other flower, and then that adds dimension to the whole project. Okay, so I'm just adding a strip of foam adhesive, and then I'm going to align that to the top of the acetate, and it's about halfway to the center of the flower. For the next flower, what I'm going to do is add some Scotch Permanent runner tape. I always forget how to use these things because I don't use them. And then I'm going to layer it underneath the flower that's already there. I'm going to make sure that they overlap, okay? Here again, I'm doing one with foam. I had these two flowers switched when I laid it out earlier, so I fixed that. I'm going to go ahead and do the next one. Again, I'm just putting it down underneath the one that is popped up on foam. So as you see, I'm laying down this piece, and it is plenty of room in between the base of the vase here, if you will. So we don't have to worry about that. So let's see if the rest so far will clear. Yes. See, they're all clearing the base. So if you sand it up, it'll be just fine. Okay, so offline I went ahead and added the rest of the gold leaves all the way around, and I checked everything. Everything works well without hanging over. And I added my center, of course. So this was just a ephemera piece heart, and then I added a puffy bow sticker to that. I thought that was super cute. What I thought I would go ahead and do now is add some of these butterflies. I think I'll just use this art glitter glue. We'll see how that works. Now you don't have to do this, I just thought I would do it to add some more dimension. When I add the glue, I'm just putting it down the body of the butterfly. That's cute. Loving the butterflies. Now, the back side is probably not going to be that beautiful, so what you can do is take a piece of decorative paper and cut it out. I would say maybe about an inch and go all the way around. Maybe I'll even show you to hide this in the back, or don't even worry about it. Who's going to look at the back really? And then if you want to decorate this, it's easy enough at this point to go ahead and take it off the base to decorate. And that's actually what I did last time. I got everything together and then I took the base back off and decorated it and then put it all back together. So I think what I'll do now is go ahead and decorate this and then try a piece on the back of that to hide some of that. Okay, I had previously taken these apart. I was going to decorate the base stand here, and I have decorated one side. I'm using Chasing Dreams, and how I did that was I took my page, I added my base to that, and then I just really cut it out by holding the paper and the base together. And then I ended up cutting out 2 of these, and I glued one on because I wanted to talk to you a moment about what I'm going to do. I think I've changed my mind. So if we put this all together, this would be behind and it would look like that. There we go. And I think that looks good. Here, I'm trying to give you a good idea. There we go. So that's what it would look like. And I like it like that, but I had taken and cut out a 5-inch circle, and then I cut out a 3-inch circle inside of that. And I was going to, you know, adhere it to the back to cover up some of the glue mess. And then I noticed that you could see a little bit of the white paper because it's not double-sided there. And not that that's a big deal, but when I had cut this piece out, I actually did it out of another one first and came up with this piece. And I held it behind here, and I just really loved how the pink and the greenery really just elevated the whole look. And then when you add your, you know, base onto that, it looks really good like that. So I think I'm changing my mind. I don't think I'm going to leave it open like this. While that looks nice, I absolutely think this looks better. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, since I've decided to do something different, what I'm going to do is adhere this to the back. And I think I'm going to take the brad out so it lays flat. And then we will put this over it. So I think I'll just add this around it. Okay, so now that we have the adhesive around the back, I'm going to take this 1-inch circle that I had previously cut out and put that facing us, but on top of the round circle. Yep, that'll work. Okay. Now it doesn't matter that this is not centered. It's fine, because when you look at it like this, and we line that up, it looks perfect. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and put a hole in there. So we're good there. Yep. Everything's coming together. Now what we need to do is add adhesive to the back of this so these two things will stick together. Okay, so I'm lining up this piece with the acetate edge. Yep, that still worked. My hole is still right there. And we can press that down. This piece was also from Chasing Dreams. Okay, now where's our Brad and our love? We'll put that back in. Look how much, I like that so much better, you guys. So if you don't want to use acetate, you can just cut out a 5-inch circle out of decorative paper as a whole and then use that for your backing. It doesn't have to be acetate. I just started that way. I like the look of it. I think it especially looked really cool with the Ferris wheel. But like I said, you could just take your decorative paper, cut out a 5-inch circle, and use that for your base. Okay. Let's add on our little base here. I love the green and the white. Oh, I think this all looks so cool. All right, now let's add, oh, I forgot to add our decorative piece, but we're going to add that after we get this all together. So let's go ahead and fan out our Brad here. And there is everything. How cute does that look? Oh my gosh, let's fix our little butterflies. Puff them up. I am absolutely loving this. Now, doesn't that look like a vase? I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so the reason why I didn't put this on before was because we're going to add this over top of the Brad to hide it. So let's use some Fabri-Tac. Remember, we don't want to glue it down really tight. We want there to be some movement. Okay, so this is how it turned out. I am absolutely loving this. I am so glad I added the extra decorative paper in the center. I just think it makes it look so much better. I love that this is really looking like a vase shape now. And if we twirl it, everything is in order and not hitting the bottom here. So it is working good. Now I know you can't see it in this, but I'll add a photo or two. And it stands perfectly without any problem at all. On the back side, this is what it looks like. You can certainly add sentiments here and signature, or add some signature sentiments here. You know, this isn't too dark where you couldn't add something to it. I love how this ring covers the glue, and so that's not viewable, but yeah, I am just so loving this. So here are the two different kinds. I've showed you how to make two different types of pedestals, I guess we should really call them. And then we have two kinds all together, the see-through and then the solid backing. But these were so much fun to make. I hope you give it a try, and I hope you have enjoyed this video as much as I have. I'll see you next time.